Okay, just to recap, we are drawing in 1-point perspective. We have 3 shapes above the horizon line, 3 below the horizon line. One of them is on the horizon line. Right now I am drawing my orthogonal lines from my vertices of my shapes to this vanishing point in the middle. Make sure that all of your orthogonal lines are traveling from the corner of your shape to this vanishing point. This should be the one spot where everything goes. If your lines are going to the horizon line, but they're going to some other point on the horizon line, then you'll need to erase those lines, try again, make sure that all of your orthogonal lines are always going to the vanishing point. That is one of our big rules of linear perspective. Orthogonal lines always go to the vanishing point. Now, all of my orthogonal lines are also straight lines, so use your straight edge to do that. If you have a line that ends up being real curved and going to the vanishing point, that's going to throw off our next step. Orthogonal lines are always straight lines. Now, let's talk about our curved shapes. There's a couple ways you can think about this. You could think about it as 2 lines that are coming out of the vanishing point to grab your circle. That's one way to think about it. You could also think about it like the hands on a clock. So let's say this paintbrush is the hand on a clock. A clock's hand stays in the middle and then it ticks around and around and around like this. So if I hold my paintbrush here in the middle, or you could use a pencil or your straight edge or whatever, then I can tick toward my shape and then stop as soon as it touches it. That is right where this line should be. So, vanishing point, going toward my circle, and right where it touches, that's where this line should be. And then the other way, same thing, just going the other direction. There we go. There's one. Heart is the same. It's got some curves on it, but it also has some corners, some vertices. So here's my curved part, always to the vanishing point. And the other side. Now, a heart has a corner. It's just a corner that goes in. And we know that those corners attach. But this bottom corner right here, we would not trace that one because then it would draw a line through our shape. So now we're done with our orthogonal lines. The last step is to do the back of your shapes. I'm gonna use a little piece of tracing paper today to show you some stuff. Okay, so to draw the back of your shape, you need to make the front match the back. What that means is we're about to cut these shapes so that they don't go off infinitely. And so let's look at this guy right here, this rectangle. I have this side right here that goes off into infinity, and we have this bottom part that goes off into infinity. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy the front of this side onto the back of this side. The front of this side is a nice vertical line. And so I'm going to travel back as far as I want to go and match it, a vertical line. Make sure that that line that you're drawing isn't accidentally crooked. So check it. Is it actually vertical? And now the bottom of this shape has a horizontal line at the front. So now we need to put a horizontal line at the back. The thing that I see the most often is this right here. That almost looks right, but it just isn't. And the reason we know is because this is not a right angle. So I can check that this right here is a right angle. So what's happening in the back should also be a right angle. And so if you put something here that is a right angle, you can even trace it, and that's going to help you out a bunch. All right, so now we look like we have a nice rectangle. When you turn in this paper, which today you're going to submit a picture of what you've been doing, you'll want to go over your lines to make them real nice and dark so that it's really easy to see your shapes in your pictures. You could also go over it with a marker or something like that. So now here's this shape all finished. You can erase your extra orthogonal lines if you want to, but you don't necessarily have to. Here's another way to think about what I just did. So here, the top of my shape has a horizontal line at the front, and so click, copy, and then paste back here. I am going to use this tracing paper to show you guys this angle. So if I trace the front of my shape like this, then the back of it should match, and so it should go like this. So horizontal line, it's going to be longer than you think, and then a vertical line straight down. Same thing. Go over it, make it nice and dark and easy to see. Now, curves are a little bit different because they need to match, but they're not going to be exact. So there's a curve here. So now I'm going to travel back here and put a curve that matches. Same thing on the other side. There's a curve here. So now I'm going to have a curve that matches. Go over your shapes, make them nice and dark and bold and easy to see. This looks like one of those little hearts that you eat at Valentine's Day that taste like chocolate. Yay! Okay, so match your angle back here. Match your angle. With all of your shapes. If you are confused about this, if you are having a hard time, if you are struggling, come to our tutoring. The next one is going to be on Monday after school. There is a link in Schoology on your art teacher's page that will bring you to tutoring, and we will be able to look at your drawing, see what weird things you're doing that aren't quite right, and then point out what you should do to make changes to help improve your drawing in 1-point perspective. So do your best. This is the first time we're going to do this. Join the Zoom meetings. I'm going to show you some what not to do's that are real helpful. Curve to match the curve. Go over your shapes to make them nice and dark, or trace over them with marker, either way. Submit a picture of this drawing into Schoology today.